How's it going, guys? This is Jacob with H.I.T with another video. This video is going to be kind of a correction video on the macro tutorial we did the other day. It's also going to be an updated video for our diet plan for eating in a surplus. So those of you that have been watching, you'll know that we stopped eating in a calorie deficit. Now we're eating in a calorie surplus, and the goal or the reason for that is to build muscle rather than cut down and kind of lean out to show the muscle off that we had. So the correction I need to talk about as far as the macro tutorial goes is so the other day when we did the macro tutorial, I went over how many calories we were going to shoot for eating in a surplus, and also how many calories were in a gram of carbs, how many calories were in a gram of fat, how many calories were in a gram of protein, which all that still stands. But whenever we did the video, I went over with you guys how we are going for a 60% carb, 25% protein, and 15% fat diet for the surplus. And what I told you guys then was that, so we were going to shoot for 3,500 calories daily, and 60% of that would come out to 2,100. So what I was telling you guys was that 2,100 was 60% of 3,500, so that we were going to need to eat 2,100 grams of carbs is what I was saying. And I didn't realize it until I got past the breakfast and then started moving into like the lunch and then the snack and stuff like that I was going to get into later, that I realized there was a problem. So while I did calculate that 60% of 3,500 is 2,100, the problem came where I started adding different foods to my meal plan, and I realized that the calories were going down way faster than the carbs, and the carbs were more than the calories whenever I was adding food items. So what I mean by that is that I was down to, like, let's say 1,400 calories, and I still had 1,700 carbs that I needed to add to the meal plan. Now there's an obvious problem there. We got about a 300 calorie deficit. Now what I found was that what I should have done, and what I ended up doing, and what I should have told you guys, was calculating that, 60% carbs for the diet was only part of, how we figure out how many carbs we actually needed to eat. So the 60% being the 2,100 calories, that's how many calories need to be allocated towards the 3,500 total for the day. Now, when you get that 2,100 number, we needed to figure out how many carbs would that be. So, as we discussed a few days ago, there are 4 calories per gram of carbs. So if you know that 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, then if you just did 2,100 times 4, you would get to, I think, 8,400 calories. And I would have noticed, if I would have just done that simple step before I got too deep into the meal plan, that if I did 2,100 carbs for this diet, then I would have more than doubled the actual calories I was going to eat for the day. So what I actually needed to do was, since a gram of carbs is 4 calories, and 2,100 calories need to be calories and carbs, then I just needed to divide the number of calories for the carbs by 4 to get how many grams of carbs that I needed. So when I did that, I come out to, I needed to eat 525 grams of carbs, and then we would move on to the how many grams of protein and how many grams of fat. So what I ended up with was, and I altered it just a little bit because it's kind of tricky trying to get exactly 60%, exactly 25%, and exactly 15% for the macros. So instead of 3,500, we just come out to 3,552. So 3,552 calories total. That's only 52 calories more. And the reason for that is because when I got right down there to the end, I actually got into the negative for my fat. So I was eating a few more grams of fat. And then I still needed to allocate, like, I think it was 36 grams of carbs and maybe, well, I'll just tell you, so yeah, I was 4.25 grams of protein in the whole, 6.7 grams of fat in the whole, meaning I went over what I allocated for the 3,500 calories. And then I was under 36 grams on the carbs. So what I did was I just found another food, which was chicken, I think it was, or no, that would have been sweet potato. So I just added a sweet potato to the meal plan, and that just added 51 carbs, added 5 protein, and no fat. So I come out, I was actually, instead of my target goal for my carbs, protein, and fat, I ended up being 15 over on the grams for carbs, 9.25 grams over on the protein, and 6.7 grams over for the fat, which whenever I did the calculations to see what a percentage would be on that, you know, if I was still close to the 60% carbs, 25% protein, and 15% fats, it was really close. The carbs was between 60 and 61%. The protein was, I think it was between 25 and 26% maybe, and the fat was more like 16 to 17%, somewhere in there. So we still got really close, but so that's kind of the correction I needed to make there, was that once I found out, you know, what 60% of the 3,500 was, which was 2,100, in order to get how many grams of carbs I needed to eat, I just divided it by 4 and got 525. So that just means that 525 grams of carbs equals 2,100 calories, and that's 60% of the 3,500 for the daily calorie intake was in carbs, was 60%. So then when you move on to protein, do so 3,500, and when I do these percentages, I just do 3,500 times 0.25 for the protein, let's say, because we're doing 25% of the total diet is being allocated towards protein. And when we do 3,500 and get 25% of that, it comes out to 875 grams of protein. Or, yeah, so that's, or not 875 grams of protein, but 875 calories that need to be of protein. And if you remember from the macro tutorial before, 1 gram of protein is also 4 calories. So in order to get how many grams of protein we need to eat to get to 875 calories of protein, you just take the 875 and divide it by 4 to get 218.75. So that's how many grams of protein you need to eat. Okay, now we'll move on to fat. Fat's a little different. Carbs and protein are each 4 grams or 4 calories per gram. Fat is 9 calories per gram. So it's still the same formula. Just we're going to allocate 15% of the total calories for the day towards fat. So in order to calculate that, 3,500 is going to be the total daily intake of calories. Multiply that by 0.15, get 525 calories need to come from fat. Now, to get how many grams of fat we need to eat, just divide it by 9, because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. And when we divide that by 9, we get 58.3. So what that comes out to is, if you're on a 3,500 calorie diet and you want to allocate 60% carbs, 25% to protein, 15% to fats, you come out to needing to eat 525 grams of carbs, 218.75 grams of protein, and 58.3 grams of fat. And like I said, we tweaked it a little bit at the end there when I almost got done with the meal plan, and it didn't throw it way out of whack. You know, it's really close. So what we actually come up with was 33,552 calories total for the day. Of course, 60% carbs, 2,160 calories. And then 540 grams of carbs total, and then 25% protein, 912 calories, and 228 grams of protein, and then 15% fat, 585 calories, and 65 grams of fat is what we come out to. Now, I'm just going to run you guys through. So that was the correction for the tutorial the other day. I noticed it whenever I got not too far into the meal plan, and luckily I didn't have to go through and restart, because I was on a pretty good track the way I was coming up with this meal plan. Even though I was way off on the numbers originally, I was still on a pretty good trajectory there, because what I found that, like with the foods that I was choosing, for the most part, is this is kind of how it runs anyway. With the foods that I was choosing, it might be different for other people, but a lot of the foods were rich in carbs and kind of low in fats, and some were high in protein and low in carbs and low in fat, like chicken, high in protein, 0 carbs, I think, and like 5 or 6 grams of fat, somewhere in there. But so a lot of these foods kind of ran in line with what I was trying to do. So it wasn't like I was, even though I was off on the numbers, whenever I figured it out where my mistake was, I didn't have to go through and fix a whole lot. I didn't have to fix anything really. I just had to keep adding on to what I had and just work off the new numbers, which was pretty good. But so I'll just run you guys through what the meal plan is going to be. And before I come up with this meal plan, this is the, I don't know what day this is now. It's the 24th or 25th, I can't remember, of May, but anyway. Yeah, something like that. I should know what day it is, but I don't. But so before this, just full transparency, because I'm honest with you guys, before I come up with this meal plan, obviously as I was on the boat working, and I told you guys I started eating like a hog, so I was eating garbage, basically, what that comes down to. And then I've been home for about, I guess, 10 days now. Since I've been home, I've been eating garbage, all but breakfast. When I come up with the breakfast plan the other day for that macro tutorial, and I've been eating this breakfast portion, but it just took me until today to come up with the rest of the meal plan. So tomorrow I need to go to the grocery store and gather up the rest of this stuff so I can finish out this last, I guess, 2.5 weeks at home on this strict diet. And then when I get on the boat, I'm not going to be able to eat all this. Well, I don't know, maybe yeah, I should be able to get pretty close, I think. We'll see how it goes on the boat, but regardless, this is what we'll have at home here. So breakfast will be 1 bagel, 1 cup of whole milk with 1 cup of Raisin Bran, 1 banana. I cut the banana up and I put it in the Raisin Bran and milk, and then 2 tablespoons of honey. I take 1 tablespoon and I put it in the cereal, and then I take the other tablespoon and I put it on the bagel, and then 1 boiled egg. Usually what I'll do is I'll kind of break the white up on the egg and I'll put it on the bagel just for a little added flavor on the bagel. However, lately, since I've been eating the cereal, I've just been breaking up pieces of the bagel and kind of soaking in the milk and eating it, which is pretty good. But so that's what breakfast will consist of there. And then I've got lunch 1 and lunch 2. Lunch one is kind of a bigger one. Lunch 2 was just kind of a filler, because when I got to the end there and I got close to the figures that I needed, I was trying to figure out where I could put in these last 2 food items, which were chicken and sweet potato. And I just come up with having a lunch 2, like between lunch and supper. But for lunch 1, it'll be 6 ounces of chicken, 6.5 ounce sweet potato, 2 tablespoons of honey, 1 cup of minute rice, 1 apple, and that'll do it for lunch 1. Lunch 2 will be chicken, 6 ounces, and a 6.5 ounce sweet potato for lunch 2. And then I've got wrote down here for snack, a 1/4 cup of Great Value, which was basically Walmart brand Mountain Trail mix, and 1 banana. So this is in case I get hungry throughout the day. I'll eat one of those 2 things. And then for supper, we'll do 2 turkey patties, so 6 ounces total. Probably try to do 2 3-ounce patties. And then another sweet potato, 6.5 ounce sweet potato, 1/2 cup of cottage cheese, 1/2 cup of Quaker oats, and 2 tablespoons of honey. And that'll be all. That's just 3,552 calories there. So the idea is that with eating in the surplus, of course I'm going to gain weight, so I'll gain fat, but with eating in a surplus. That should give my body and my muscles what they need to grow, along with the high intensity training that we're doing. And as I said in a previous video, we did the eating in a deficit, and that was kind of a 3-part deal there. So I don't want people to get confused on whenever we went from week 1 all the way up to week 7 in the week 7 transformation video. I don't want people to get confused on, just thinking that was only the training, or only the diet, or only the cardio. It was threefold. So it was the diet, eating in a deficit, it was the cardio, jogging 1.5 to 3 miles 2 or 3 times a week, and or cycling 6 to 10 miles 2 or 3 times a week, and also the high intensity training. So those 3 things right there got us to our peak from week 1 to week 7. I call that the peak, was week 7, because that's when I was leanest. After week 7, kind of tapered off, and even though I fell off once or twice on the eating, kind of backslid and got back into it, I never did get back to that same physique as week 7. Truth be told, that's probably when I should have, had the cutoff for the deficit to the bulk. But here we are. So we're going to continue doing the training. I was a little behind on uploading the legs and abs video, and the shoulders and arms video, but we got them up on YouTube, and I still need to add videos to Instagram. For those of you guys that are interested, go over to H.I.T on Instagram, and hopefully my name will come up. But I'm getting some traffic on there because I do some kind of a deal, because it's a content creator page or something. It's like, I think $2 a day, where I get somewhere like 400 views a day from ads or something like that. I'm getting some traffic on there, but it's mainly bots, I think, or fake accounts. But if you guys want to check that out, go over there. I don't have anything on it yet, so if you get over there and you don't see anything but like maybe a profile picture or something, don't be surprised. But I need to get on that. I need to make a note of that for tomorrow, I guess, to upload on that. But this is the book that I use. It's the Most Complete Food Counter. I don't think there's a digital version of it. I was hoping there was, but I don't think there is. I looked when I was on the boat and I couldn't find one. Maybe you could, but so what this does is whatever food you want to look up, and it doesn't have everything, but you can look up what you can't find in here on your phone. But I've found this is more convenient because it's got so much information right there at your fingertips that you can just flip through, rather than being on your phone and trying to search for it. Because whenever you search on your phone for something, or when I do it anyway, I type in whatever food I'm looking for in the nutrition facts, and then I have to like click on it, and then it'll pull up the nutrition facts. But with this here, it's all right there. So we went over it a little bit the other day, but this tells you like tells you all your nutrients for the food you're eating. So for instance, chicken is a big one. So I always go to breast on here. Let's see here. Yeah. So if you do chicken breast without skin, so boneless chicken breast, roasted, baked, If you do a half a breast, 3 ounces, that's 142 calories, 3 grams of fat, 1 gram of saturated fat, 73, I guess, whatever cholesterol the measurement on that is. I don't know if it's grams or percentage or what, but 27 grams of protein, 0 grams of carbs, 0 sugar, 0 fiber, 13 calcium, 64 sodium, 220 potassium, 3 folic acid, and 0 vitamin C. So it's got all those nutrients there for you for the food that you're looking for. And it doesn't just have food you buy at the store. It's also got some menu items for like Pizza Hut, P.F. Chang's, Panera. In the back, it's got all kinds of restaurants for you for your most of the places you go. So this is a very handy book. You can definitely make you out a really good comprehensive meal plan with that right there. It's, again, I don't know if you can see it now, but the most complete food counter, 3rd edition. It's by Karen J. Nolan and Joanne Heslin. Karen is a PhD, and Joanne, I guess that MA means she has an MA and an RD, but this book is very handy. And also, I can't remember if I broke it. I'm sure I have. But if any of you guys got any questions about, you know, basic things like how do you figure out how to eat in a surplus or how to eat in a deficit, or have more questions about the macros and the breakdown of them, let me know. I don't know a whole lot, but what I do know, I'm pretty, I feel like I'm staying on pretty solid ground about it. Even though I just made that mistake the other day in the video that we had to correct today. That was a numerical issue, but if you guys got any more questions, just let me know, or got any comments, put them down in the comment section. I think that'll do it for this video. I just wanted to make that correction and then give you a breakdown of what the meal plan is going to be for the surplus. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.